Hello, it's Martin Leifeld, and I'm going to be talking about closing time, the theme of closing in a moment, but I did want to say this is the 22nd video of my 5 Minute for Fundraising series, and maybe it's the first that you're checking out, maybe through LinkedIn or one of the connections there, or you found it on YouTube. I have a website, martinleifeld.com, with these videos and some other information. And I wanted to say it's been a pleasure to do this, a joy, a privilege to take some of the basic fundamentals of fundraising and major gift fundraising with some of the nuances and reflections I've had in the course of my career and to share it in this format with you. And the idea, of course, is that these videos can be helpful to help others be more effective in raising funds, and so that our organizations enjoy the benefit of more funds and can fulfill their missions with increasing power and dynamism. So I want to thank you, whether this is your first or 22nd. I also wanted to say that in the near future, we will be uploading to the website and be available on YouTube, of course, a seminar that I did this earlier this year called The Relentless Pursuit of Major Gifts. The Relentless Pursuit of Major Gifts has been a theme that I've particularly focused on in the last 15 years of my career, and all out at the University of Missouri St. Louis. And this seminar is a series of 6 presentations, more or less 20-25 minutes in length, that focuses on various dimensions of fundraising. The seminar was held at our UMSL Grand Center, our Grand Center facility here in St. Louis, and there were 100 plus participants, over 50 not-for-profits represented. Many of the colleges and universities were represented from here in the community, and it was a morning seminar for us to consider various dimensions of fundraising and major gift fundraising. So that's coming. Stay tuned. So let's talk about closing time. Semisonic came out with a song, I don't know, maybe 2010, 2011, called Closing Time. Great name for a song, great name for a talk about fundraising. And I thought maybe I ought to quote Semisonic, and then I as I was looking through the lyrics, they have a lyric that could be a philosophy course. Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. And I thought, Martin, forget about it. We don't want to start there. What we want to focus on instead is our major gift fundraising task of closing gifts. If we're fundraisers, we have this responsibility to close gifts. And the calendar year can be a way for us to focus on closing gifts with donors, because giving gifts is very much on their minds. Calendar year end is very good. Fiscal year end is also a time, perhaps less so for some donors, but certainly foremost on our minds, that as we draw near to the end of our fiscal year, we want to close as many gifts as possible so that they can be put to work as soon as possible, and to be able to add them to the total to meet the fundraising goal and objectives we've had for the year. I'm recording this in the month of May. Of course, our fiscal year ends at the University of Missouri St. Louis on June 30th. So closing time, this is closing time, and closing gifts is very much on my mind and that of my colleagues. So calendar year end, fiscal year end, and then there's other unique constraints that come up in the course of our year, whether it be a matching gift requirement or just an urgent need requirement that has some time specific, for which we go out and use this concept of time to raise money in order to accomplish good. But there's also just the fact that there comes a time to close a gift. It may correspond with one of those things, and we can use time as part of it, but perhaps it's just time to close the gift. Well, when is the appropriate time to close a gift? Well, you've had one or perhaps many discussions with the donor about the gift, the purpose of the gift, what the donor hopes to accomplish with your institution, with our university, through this gift commitment, the size of the gift, the nature of the gift, how the gift is going to be given. Is it going to be given in stock outright, Is it going to be given over a series of years? Is it a deferred gift? Is it a combination of all of the above? And so once we get to the point where we've talked through those particulars, it's time to document the gift. We want to document the gift because a verbal promise is insufficient. Now, the fact of the matter is verbal promises don't last forever. Someone may sincerely say to us they want to make a gift, and as I've just said, we've worked through all the details, but if we don't close the gift, we run the risk of that gift never being documented and never being fulfilled as intended. Why? Because donors have unique circumstances. Their lives are ever changing. There's forces we can't account for that impact their lives. And if we wait too long, suddenly our gift looks like something that perhaps they should hold off or not do because of ever evolving circumstances, as happens in all of our lives. So no gift is closed until it's documented. A verbal promise doesn't do it. And closing gifts, asking for a gift is the easiest part of this process. I think closing gifts is the most difficult. We have donors who are very, very busy. And oftentimes, while they want to do a gift and desire to do a gift, they're traveling a great deal. They're engaged in business at a very high level. The competition for their time is fierce and intense. And while they're willing, they're just so incredibly preoccupied, it's difficult for us to close that gift. If it's a more complex gift, the donor may have attorneys or financial advisors or their accountants involved, and or a board from a foundation or family members or a corporate board. Who knows the constellation of individuals and resources that are being called upon by that donor in order to put together this particular gift or another. And so we have to work with all of that and close the gift. Not always easy, but it's our job to do. So some simple strategies that I use, that my colleagues use, that perhaps you use, worthy to think about when it comes time to close a gift or a season like here, the end of our fiscal year end, when we're certainly trying to close gifts. Well, draw upon what motivated the gift in the first place. Focus upon that with the donor. Remind them about the purpose for which they intended and the impact it will have. Spell it out. Paint the picture. If it's a student scholarship, the kind of student that will be supported and advanced and what that will do for that student. If it's a capital gift, what the construction of a project, a building, an addition, a classroom, maybe perhaps equipment for a classroom, what that will enable your institution to accomplish with the gift and the repercussions of the gift. Paint the picture, make it as clear as possible, remind that donor. I like to use the active leadership that comes with making a major gift. And then, unless the donor wants it to be anonymous, if they're willing to allow me to share and talk with others about their gift, and I do, I use the examples of others' gifts all the time to influence and to challenge the next donor, the next prospect, particularly if they're contributors that the next donor or prospect I'm visiting would know. And I can talk about that gift. That helps persuade and frame and create a floor for what I hope to obtain from the next donor or prospective donor that I'm engaged with. So challenging them about leadership and what a great advantage the commitment of their gift will bring to you immediately in terms of influencing others oftentimes is quite compelling for the donor. You can draw upon others to help you close a gift. Perhaps there's a volunteer that helped make the introductions in the first place, an executive with which you work. I work with a chancellor, I work with deans, I work with some very powerful volunteers, and from time to time I will call upon them to help me bring a gift to resolution with a donor or a prospect. One of the things that I will do is close the gift with an intermediate step, a stage. So let's say we're talking about a complex gift. It might involve someone revisiting their estate plans and so on. And all of that, as I said, gets complicated. It takes time. But if their intention is clear, I will ask them to make the commitment in writing even before we've got every detail completed. The codicil or the change of their will or their trust completed. If it's their clear intention, so let's say someone wants to give us $250,000 for a very important project. The sooner we're able to have that commitment, we're going to be able to use it as an act of leadership to influence others. And I'll say, so since it's clear to me, and that you want to do $250,000, that this may take some time for you logistically, just getting it done, given the busyness of your life and the complexity of the gift. We could put this right to use right now. If you would be willing to enable me to document this gift, because I can't talk about this gift with others and challenge others with this act of leadership on your part, without it being documented. And to make it as easy as possible, I can simply send you an email that says, my understanding from our discussions is that you intend to give $250,000 for this purpose. And if you would simply respond to that email affirmatively, or affirmatively with perhaps a clarification or a nuance to specify it if for some reason I misunderstood or was not clear enough, we will be able right away, immediately, to do this. I can go back to my office, and 20 minutes from now I'll have that email to you. You say yes, we can put it to work now. Could we do that? Would you be willing to do that since your intention is so clear? This is very powerful, and I've used it numerous times, and they'll say yes. Well, oftentimes then I will hand off the completion of the gift to one of our Planned Giving people, like Lyle Brizendine, our Senior Director of Development for Planned Giving, who's brilliant and very, very effective in this field, very knowledgeable, and knows just about every attorney, CPA, and financial advisor in St. Louis. And he'll help bring the details to conclusion, but meanwhile, our university can use this story of another donor stepping up to make something great happen for our institution. So these are just different strategies. I encourage you to think about them, to put them to use to close gifts. Again, it's our job to close gifts. It's greatly satisfying when the gift is finally in writing, is in document, of course, is collected in full and implemented. But it's our job, whether it's easy or taxing, to get this job done and to close gifts for the good of the donor, the benefit of the donor, and for the benefit of the organization and for what we serve. So I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. There's a forum. I hope you go to the forum, and I want to thank you very much for listening.